Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome into another edition of NFT Live on the Web3 Network. Gifted just made it in time for this episode. We're sitting in our round square table here with some good creators, some great friends. Biggie Poppins, Ronan the Collector, Gifted, of course, just fresh off a GM Web3 morning show in his mutant cap. We got a lot of fresh hats on today, fellas. Jeez.
Hey, and 3/4 of them are forward.
True. I thought the backwards hat was the memo. There we go. All right. Let's go around the table then. Biggie, what are we doing today?
Dude, it's been crazy over here in the household. My baby girl woke up and she was not in the mood. So it's just been scrambling. But we're here. I'm super happy.
I love to see it, man. Ronan, your team is in the national championship. Tell me how you feel about it.
I feel real good, man. As always. It's been a good week, good weekend, good holiday. Hope you guys had a good holiday, man. Happy New Year to everybody in chat. Knox, Prodigy, what's going on, Era? It's nice to see everybody. So it's been good for me, man. I've been kicking it.
Hey, real quick before we get to Gifted, did you claim your WAGMI United jersey?
Yes, I did. Has my jersey gotten in? I don't think so. But
hey,
2024.
Hey, I heard some people were getting them like right before Christmas. So
really?
What?
Yeah, like some of the people who like ordered them like right at the beginning, like got them right before like Christmas. So I don't know.
When Q told us.
I know, dude, and it's funny because then I hit up Q and I'm like, man, I just collected my did my thing or whatever. He's like, oh, I gotta do mine.
I never fucking did it.
But, you didn't do it? Did you? No. Is the window closed? Did you miss the window?
The window's definitely closed, but Mike Finch, I think, saved me. Gifted, how are you doing today, my man? How was the morning show this morning? Talking a lot about security, Instagram NFTs.
And Chat GPT. Yeah, it was a great show. We had some new friends show up and get in the mix. That's always cool when new people just discover us over there on the Twitter Spaces, and then they get the vibe right away. They're like, "Yo, this is a great conversation. Good people. I want to be in on this," And the amount of times that I have those experiences on Twitter Spaces, and then they send me a DM afterwards saying like, "Yo, thanks for having me up. I appreciated the conversation." Like, I love that shit, man. It's just expanding this tribe one person at a time that way sometimes. And so that's always cool. It was just a really good conversation, man. And, Happy New Year to you, Ronan. We got to hang out with Biggie yesterday, but first time you're on the show. So, and for anyone else joining us for the first time of the year, Happy New Year to you, friend. But you also mentioned the joke about 2024 for the jersey. I was gonna say I'm working on my 2022 recap right now, coming in 2024 for sure. That's it. I don't know. Excited to be here.
Love to see it, man. So we got a lot to touch on today, guys. We appreciate, as Ronan said, we appreciate you joining us today. Nick Swerve is in the house. Erafim, Prodigy, Quasar, Nox Darkness, which I'll get to here in a second.
Yo, real quick. Since we were talking about the amazing community that we have and the show this morning, so the topic was actually inspired by Quasar sending me, hey, here's a notification of what's going on with Instagram NFTs. So shout out Quasar. That's how, sometimes we get topics straight from the community. They're like, yo, this is happening. This looks cool. Let's talk about it. And I said, fuck yeah, Quasar. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Let's go. So
we appreciate you guys. Yeah, absolutely. Quasar, thank you for hopping in today. We appreciate you guys showing up early. You guys are really filling the chat here this morning. It's always a better show when you guys are participating. It's also a better show with a community topic segment, which we have just started to do at the end of 22, going into 23, and we want to continue. I just linked the NFT live tweet. Here's what you have to do. All you have to go in is to that thread, drop a community topic. Could be anything. It could be why Solana is going to be the next big layer one. It could be why Moonbirds are the best blue chip project. It could be why Georgia is going to win the national championship. Anything you want to do. It could be NFTs, Web3 related, all that stuff.
It could why Georgia is going to lose the national championship. Let's talk. I got no Georgia Bulldog in this fight, so I don't know.
So you're not a college football guy.
He's a real football fan, apparently, Ronan. He loves the beautiful game, apparently. So
yeah, college,
okay.
Yeah.
So look, I'm going to share it on my screen because we have Nox Darkness, who's the only one that's participated up to this point. Just go to the tweet, come down here, tweet your reply, a community topic, $50 in ape coin. That's your incentive. If that's not enough in a bear market, I don't know what is.
Or everybody listening to this not participating can basically just gift Nox Darkness $50 in ape coin by not doing shit. So y'all can just sit on your hands and not participate, and by doing that, you are actually participating, and you are gifting Nox Darkness, who did participate, $50 in ApeCoin. So there's that.
I'm bringing Twitter up one more time here because here's yesterday's episode of NFT Live. We were talking about Solana. And so Solana got brought up, and your main man, Mr. Solana Fudd Jr., Mr. himself,
I don't
Mr.
know how
Jif Dead.
This is like, I am not anti-Solana. I'm just pointing out that, like, it's not really a great place for NFT art right now.
Apparently.
Like, I'm pointing out, like, the obvious things, but you know what? I did. So, okay, shout out Justin Murray, because he's not only like a Solana maxi who's very active. Look at this. He's actually come in with receipts, trying to give instruction. Here's cool people to follow. I actually went and followed like all of these different people that he told me, because I want to learn more. I want to see what he's seeing, and I'm not trying to be isolated off in our own Ethereum bubble. I want to know, like, we're agnostic here. That's why we talk so much about Solana. That's why we talk about Tezos. That's why I collect on Tezos, and I collected a little bit on Solana. I want to know what's going on over there. And Justin said he might even come on the show. We should get some Solana maxis.
Nice.
We should get some.
Yeah.
We should get some Solana maxis.
Love it.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, this is the rest of the topics we have to hit today besides GiftEd getting canceled. I did just link that tweet there if you want to check out some projects. So Claynosaurs, Teo Pilots, DGen Ape Academy, Monkey DAO, Famous Fox Fed. So a lot of shit happening on Solana, okay? It's going to be the year. We're going to talk about some BONKPAPER as well.
But of all of those, I've heard of DGen Ape Academy. I have not even heard of the others, but I heard of DGen Ape Academy. So.
You will soon. You will soon. All right. I dropped that link if you guys want to check that out. Otherwise, we will get started on the rest of today's episode. We're going to touch on wallet security. A crypto OG, as they say here, CryptoNovo got hacked for 7 figs for around 600 ETH worth of NFTs. So we're going to talk about that. That is an unfortunate situation. Our hearts go out to that individual. We're going to talk about Logan Paul. Ronan's been sharing some links, I think, before the end of the new year about CoffeeZilla and everything he kind of called out for Logan Paul as it's related to a project. And then his response over the last week has been to scramble and try to act like he's getting some activity so that he doesn't get labeled a scammer. So we'll talk about that. And then we've got our beautiful community topic here that we will get to. So leave a like on today's video. We are going to get started on the quick news segment. Before we do, Ronan, I always love like a new NFT that you've got like on the screen behind you. Could you break down what you got for us today?
I figured I'd swap over to my jersey because I actually like claimed it. So that's
is that the WAGMI jersey?
No, that's actually my Artifact jersey.
Okay.
We didn't switch to the other jersey. Hold on, where's the other one? I thought I had the WAGMI. No.
Dude, it'll be really funny if you get like an extra small jersey.
Dude. So far, like all the stuff that's come in has been the right sizes and stuff, man. Like, but I figure like at some point something that would come in wrong, but no, man, they're all doing it right. I did get my Adidas in. Did any of you guys get the Adidas claim?
No, Strawberry was telling me last night he just got his too, and some other people. So apparently,
I showed up in that bad boy,
dude. You should have, dude.
Full neon.
Do it for the show. Come on, bro. So yo, Ronan, take a quick bathroom break here in a couple minutes, and then I'm just.
I was like, man, I don't even know if I should open it because I would never wear this shit in public. Like, maybe I should just keep it in plastic and like fucking sell it in 20 years or something. But like, I don't know. It might be more fun just to throw it on real quick.
Yo, look at that jersey.
The beanie's fire though. Like the beanies.
Oh yeah. The beanies are cool.
Like,
that jersey behind you though, I'm looking at that jersey. It looks very monochromatic. Is the like
that's the Artifact one? Yeah.
The graphic though, is that like holographic? Like, is it reflective?
It's like, it looks like it's got like a reflective, like maybe like almost like a
Yeah.
yeah, like almost like a hologram, but with like, instead of like the rainbow like effect, it's more of like a silvery like effect.
That's cool.
But who the heck knows, man? I don't know when those are supposed to come in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bought that one, so I figured I should have the jersey. I got all types of stuff, man. I keep, sometimes, you know, the token frame doesn't want to work, but hey, it's been working lately. So,
folks, we're going to get started here on today's episode. I promise, into quick news and have ourselves a quick episode for Jacob, who is a real person. We were talking about that on the team meeting yesterday. Jacob is a real person. I'm not going to dox him, but he might show up on NFT Live one of these days. Who knows?
That's good. That's good. Don't dox him. That's good.
Yeah, someone else got doxxed today on this GM Web3 morning show. He wasn't happy about it. Soft people triggered. Prodigy saying, Biggie, is that a squiggle pin? Ronan is...
You know it.
There it is. Don R saying, Ronan, love the walking shirt. Prodigy's also saying Logan Paul's a rug. Cam Taylor got theirs. Yeah, we're gonna work into it. Nick Swerve is saying the Adidas shit looks like you could throw on a helmet and walk around Chernobyl. All right. I love this. Look, I love the market right now too. I just want to talk about this. I mean, it feels good to have just a sea of green, as it both in the NFT space and the crypto space right now. It seems like we've got a little bit of relief on the price front across the board. You guys feeling good about the market right now, or you think we still got some? Yeah, we still got time to go, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even say it.
Look, new year. There's a little bit more hope and buoyancy in the air. Let's see how long that lasts, right? Like, I don't think this is gonna be the run that takes us back to 4K ETH. I just think it's a little bit of optimism coming into a new year.
Okay.
Yeah,
which I'm not mad at. I'm not mad at.
Solid
I'm
statement.
not mad at that. Yeah.
Ronan, I didn't see you before the new year, and I do want to get to hop into quick news, but I really quickly want to ask you if you, like, at the start of 23, being in the NFT space for so long now, I think it's been like 2019, right? Being on NFT Live for these years, like, were you doing some like reflection on like how long you've been in the space at this point?
Yeah, it's funny because I was actually talking to my therapist this morning, and I was talking about the fact that I had talked to a friend. I think she's come through the show before, Jasmine, at Round 21, and she was like, "Oh, you know, when did you meet her?" And I was like, "Oh, man, we've been friends for." And I thought about it. I was like, "Shit, Jasmine's one of the very first people who ever hit me up from Clubhouse to help with some NFT ideas and, you know, ideation." And I was like, "It's been almost 2 years." Yeah, so I've definitely been thinking about that. I've been thinking about how much has changed, like what 2021 felt like versus 2022, and what can we expect for 2023. I think for me personally, I think it's going to be a good one, man. I think, like GIF, I don't know, maybe I'm like just feeling that buoyancy, but you know, like I feel like 2023's got a good vibe so far.
Nothing crazy has happened. No one scammed people for billions of dollars, so we're off on the right track.
Yeah, just millions. Just millions.
Yeah, just a couple of millions and the Bitcoins too. Yeah.
Hi, are you feeling good about the new year, Biggie? I know we talked yesterday, but are you feeling?
I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm always an optimist, but I always say I'm a sober one. I like, whenever I catch myself just getting a little too euphoric, like, I don't know, there's just always something in me that it's like, pipe down, dude. Like, you never know, you know? So that's the way I'm feeling 2 days into the thing.
I'd love to see it. All right, man. We will get started with today's quick news, and it will be quick, I promise you. Polygon is rocking in December with over 1.3 million NFTs sold on Polygon, and that is a new record for them. So we're seeing a lot of updates on Polygon. Instagram NFTs are something we're going to be talking about as well later in today's episode, but Polygon selling 1.3 mil in NFTs. Any insights there, Gifted, on this story, or what your thoughts on Polygon are?
Yeah, I think it's just the beginning. I think we're going to see a lot of these types of stories this year. And I think, you know, similar, like we've said, 2023 is going to be the year of AI I don't know if like AI art is gonna mature in 2023, but like AI in general, like Chat GPT and all these different consumer facing AI tools are going to be just such a big part of what's happening this year and developing. Uh, Generative art, I think, as far as our predictions go, it's going to be big this year. I think 2023 is going to be the year of Polygon. I think like we've seen all the big headlines about the development happening over the last year, over 2022. You're going to start to see that the network effect. You're going to start to see the actual transactions and volume coming online as a lot of these projects that have been in development, a lot of these massive projects like Starbucks Odyssey, like Dot Swoosh from Nike, like fucking Reddit, like Instagram, Meta, all of these massive consumer brands and platforms that are all building there, you're going to start to see it coming online.
Anybody have any takes on other layer ones that we should get involved in? Like, are we
Bonk coin, bro? No,
that's what I'm saying. If you had to buy into Polygon, Solana, Avalanche, or Tezos right now, which one are you getting into? Polygon?
Tezos.
Out of those,
for what purpose?
Polygon and Tezos.
Investment in the token.
You're not doing anything.
Jump in a Polygon. Yeah, you're not doing anything. I probably wouldn't. I'm not doing anything. I'm not moving any money around. I'm just watching and seeing what the hell's going on because things are just different, right? And right now, who knows? Yeah, Polygon. I wouldn't touch any of them. I wouldn't put anything there because I think to Gift's point, we're all sitting kind of high at the moment, and we'll see it go back low. And you don't want to deal with that stress. Just leave your shit where it's at.
Taking the old wait and see method there.
Okay,
that's a strategy. Yeah.
We're gonna jump back into Polygon here in a second when we talk about Instagram's latest launch, because I think basically they're at the point where they've now integrated it with certain influencers. So we'll touch on that in just a second. Other quick news: if you bought Bonk at the exact point that we were talking about it yesterday, you'd be up 100%.
And look, we said literally like,
NFA.
not financial advice, but like this is what happens with a lot of new tokens. If you get in early enough at the right time, you can make some money, but buyer beware. Like just as fast as it goes up, it can go down.
Yeah, one development that happened since yesterday was initially they had this website, which I'll link to now. Let me see if I can get to bonkcoin.com, but they put out a full 4 pages now, fellas. It's about 4 to 5 pages about the project. So this is what you saw yesterday. It was basically a 1-pager. I don't even know if the integrations button was working, but this is
are you really impressed with the amount of pages they added to?
No.
ChatGPT out.
Oh,
days,
love it. Yeah, they threw it in there. How do we talk about a scam coin?
Yeah.
I don't want to call it a scam coin at this point, but because it's not. It's like what they're trying to do with it, at least with the narrative they're trying to play, is very much a Doge and those kind of massively distributed tokens that have this like decentralized feel as the ownership goes. Like it's not owned by VCs. All of these things. We'll see. Shall we call it Doge?
Shall we call it a pump and dump in mid-flight?
Some people might disagree. Listen,
I'm sure.
Some
people do. Again, this is why I'm getting canceled on fucking.
That man
Twitter
is bonkers.
Got him. Yeah, Gift Dad's getting bonked on Twitter. So they put out a white paper, quote unquote. Again, this is like 6 to 8 pages long. It's getting longer as I talk about it, but they put out a core thesis. They talked about what Bonk is. They looked at the distribution, which is what we saw yesterday. So you can give that a look. Again, it's not that long. So there's not much out about this project other than the fact that it was distributed to Solana community members and Solana developers, and a portion is going to a DAO that's going to fund different things happening on Solana. So there's all these positive vibes related to Bonk token. Probably has to do with it being up 500, 600% here in the last week. Do we think this has some legs? Are we buying Bonk, fellas?
No. I can't. Somebody else.
I'm saying no. I'm not messing with that, man. But I think like if we're trying to be serious though, like this is one of those situations where if, to Gift's point, like if you get in early, you know the information, you also understand the cycle, right? Like one of the things that I feel like I have learned and I can kind of see coming and have gotten a little better at, and I know like the vibe is like that 48-hour cycle after like an NFT drop. Like I know kind of what that feels like, right? Or what the different options of that vibe can be. I don't know that when it comes to tokens. If you're the type of person who's into that, and if you're the type, I got a buddy, he looks at charts and he goes, oh, this is where it's going to go and what it's going to do. And when it hits that shit, it's like, people are like, dude, how do you figure this out? Like, if that's your place, then maybe it is. Maybe it is a good, like, this is one of those where it's got obviously enough like traction, right? And enough eyes on it that maybe it could be an effective move if you kind of know how these things play out.
Just don't gamble with anything you can't lose. At the end of the day,
watch your ass.
That's
Never.
it.
Ever.
It's like, look, this is high risk, high reward degen speculating on fucking shit tokens, and you could make again, somebody, probably mostly the insiders that spun up the token, but somebody's going to be a bonk millionaire. There will be a few bonk millionaires minted from this shit, but the majority of people are going to buy in at the top and fucking lose their asses. So don't be one of those people and just don't gamble with something that you're going to fucking lose.
I've got some things I want to pull up, but Biggie, did you have anything while I
No, I don't. No, I do not want to.
I just want to say shout out to Swervis in chat because his comments are lit today.
Read it out. I'm trying to pull up this.
I want to personally mallet every soul influencer with one of those Chuck E. Cheese gopher hammers. Man.
Dear Solana community,
thank you. Fuck me.
The support.
Why isn't this playing audio?
Has meant the world to us.
Why are you torturing us?
Oh, it is. It is.
Solana community.
Yeah.
Oh, I hear it.
Thank you.
I hear it.
The support from this community has meant the world to us.
Who made this video?
Thank you for putting us on the map.
Frank.
We could not have done any of this.
Frank, the
without
gods
you.
made this
We've
video.
come to the realization that in order to grow, we need to explore.
Oh, and then what? He announces Monopoly?
So,
that
was the announcement yesterday.
While he was drinking eggnog with his mom and dad on Christmas evening, he got on iMovie and put together that amazing cinematic masterpiece explaining why we love the Solana community, but we're better than you now. And they're fucking weird.
So Brian is saying they burned 500 billion reserve for the D-Gods airdrop. That's enough for me to respect them. So apparently Bonk unilaterally made this decision, probably through the DAO at this point, I'm assuming, that they weren't going to drop tokens to any of the D-Gods holders. This sounds like a reality television show.
It sounds like crypto to me, man. It sounds like,
how much is that?
People in this space are so fucking petty. It's awesome. It makes for so
well, but
here we go.
There we go.
If you needed here's the thing. If you needed any proof to know whether or not Bonk was a ploy / strategy to try and help save and stabilize and keep volume in Solana, here it is. This is not just like, hey, we're trying to create an awesome utility for the people. It's like, no, this is like a political agenda for why Solana is a better chain than fucking you know what I mean? It's like Biggie was the one that was pointing out that like this feels like, hey, they just need something on Solana to try and get people to keep putting their fucking money and transacting there right now because there's not much good there, and the two biggest fucking projects are both leaving with the Gods and the Utes. It kind of seems like they just need some fucking reason, like an airdrop, to keep people fucking putting money in there. And you know what, that to me is what that says. It's like, here's the proof, here's the receipt that this is a like political stunt just as much as it is whatever else they say it is.
Hear me out. Bonk created anonymously by Frank DeGods as he's leaving the Solana ecosystem.
Oh jeez.
Hear me out. 40 chess.
Cash out some more.
Come on. Yeah.
Oh man, this space is awesome.
All right, so we're gonna get to it. Brian is saying they are just a meme coin gift ed. Don't overthink it. Brian is saying that Nick Swervis is lolzing at it. And we've got in Nox Darkness likes your term, Biggie, the mid-flight pump and dump. Love that. Listen,
It is what it is.
Again, we touched on this.
Let's not overthink $500 billion or whatever. You're right.
Billion.
Honestly,
what did they fucking say? What did they?
No,
how much is burned there? But go ahead, Biggie.
Honestly, like after what you just showed me on that Twitter comment or whatever regarding what they burned, if you see enough of these scams already, like these people are very lazy. It's not like they try to be creative or anything. They literally just swipe the whole thing from some other scam and use the same terminology and the same little shenanigans to try to game everything. And that's really what it read like. I mean, honestly, I'm not. If it turns out to be great and there are millionaires from it, well, fucking good on you. But not interested, dude.
All right, we're starting a poll here that will go live momentarily. Are you buying Bonk coin at this price? Are you buying Bonk coin at all? That poll will go live here. 500 billion times 0 equals 0. It's not yet at 0. Okay, so it's worth something, obviously. So if anybody could do those calculations on how much was burned did it get decided by the DAO? I need to do some things. Again, we're gonna get canceled by the Solana maxis that claim we don't do enough research about the ecosystem.
Let's get canceled by the Cool Cats maxis while we're at it. It's doing better than Milk Token right now.
Okay, so we're gonna continue to follow Bonk Token. I might buy some live on air just to commiserate with Gift Dead. That's basically what we do here. Real quick, I didn't have this as a story, but ApeCoin is above $4. It's probably at the same price that it was at when staking launched, which is I think astounding a lot of people. I think most people. I was talking with Mike Finch this morning, and he actually thinks that a lot of people shorting the token when staking came out is one of the reasons we're seeing the pump now, right? Because if you're shorting the price, thinking it's going to go to $2 when staking launches, and it doesn't, and it starts to liquidate people, that actually makes buy orders and leads to the price going up. Could be a reason why we're at 415.
Short squeeze.
A little bit of short squeeze going
right
on.
Now?
It's at 4. It's at 410, 415 right now. So
at like midnight last night. I don't look at it often. I look at it once a week, like I said, and I looked at it this morning because I was like, I want to check it out. And yeah, man, I was like, damn, I'm kind of impressed that it's like continuing to stay stable.
Still wouldn't buy it. I mean, the APRs are nice, APY is nice, but I still wouldn't buy ApeCoin at this price. This is not financial advice again until we see more utility come out from Yuga Labs.
By then it's too late, Q. By then it's too late.
Yeah, never mind. Buy all the ape.
Bugatti.
Has anybody kept up with the stuff with Bored Apes going on? Like I haven't. Dude, I turned Twitter off for the holidays.
We've already figured out, Ronan. We wait until the end of the show to do the Yuga show, right? So the Yuga show is at the end.
I was just curious if anybody kept up with it.
We alienate the majority of our audience who's like, don't care,
Absolutely.
fucking over it. So yeah. We'll do the Yuga show, but just later. Yeah.
No,
Yuga show at the end. Yuga show at the end, fellas. All right, in what was the quickest nuke segment of all time, we're capping it off with the last bonk news here. Merch, boys.
Of course.
Merch.
Without merch.
And it's all black, of course. It has to. If you're in the NFT space, it has to be all black merch.
I need more black merch. Can't get enough. Can't get enough black merch.
I thought the same thing, dude. But the other day I looked through my shit. I was like, yo, I've literally worn black for like 2 months. You would think I'm a fucking like people like who know me are probably like, yo, does he have some like depression going down? Like what's going on? Like everything is black, bro, and it's not purposeful. Like, but all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm rocking black shit I need some color. Send me not maybe the highlighter brown Adidas, but send me something in blue.
What else are you supposed to be wearing when you're jamming Deftones, bro? I mean, come on. It's like, it's the vibe.
I know. Yeah, it is the vibe.
All right, folks, we're getting into the meat of the episode here. Jacob, this could turn into a short episode for you. We're going to hit the major news of the day, which is that CryptoNovo got hacked for 7 figs. Before we get to that startling piece of news, and then we're going to talk a little bit about wallet security. Please leave a like on today's episode. It does help. I think we got to 30 likes there on the last episode, which means apparently
you gotta buy 2 cocks. You gotta buy 2 cock punches.
I never co-signed on this. I never co-signed.
I don't know about all that. But yo,
it's about consensus. Q. We all said you would. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Consensus.
2 out of 2.
What,
Consensus.
That's what Web3 is all about. This is a DAO that we're running right here live with the chat. But no, I want to get back to that AI chat GPT generated CTA.
Okay.
Q.
If we do,
where is that? Because that was fucking next level. And you only gave it to us once.
I gotta thank Asmodai first for that, because Asmodai was the one that dropped that in chat. I can try to find it. If you guys want to hit a hardcore CTA, I got you. But it's gonna be a little while. I'm scrolling in our Discord vigorously right now.
There's a search button.
That's true.
The more you like the video, the faster he scrolls. That's how that works.
I just want to say this was supposed to be okay, I got it. If you're ready to join the NFT revolution, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join us on this exciting journey. We can't wait to see what the future holds for NFTs, and we hope you'll be part of it with us. See you on the next episode of NFT Live. That last part doesn't make sense. See you on today's episode.
Make sure you hit the thumb and like and subscribe, and make sure you grab the link and you share it with your homies. And yeah, we appreciate you.
Damn, we are professionals at that.
How did Ronan still do better than you, even when you had the AI support? Oh man,
I'm like, damn, but you didn't tell him what to do. You just gave him.
I had to hit the subscribe button.
I feel like I'm in Independence Day.
Hit the subs.
It's a work in progress, y'all.
We're always a whip in here. We're always a whip. We're whipping away. Listen, I said it was going to be a quick episode, and Gift that's trying to make it not happen. Ronan,
why in the morning?
That's what I'm like, man. He's really trying to make it quick, man. He's
that's
what to do. He had a full like glass over there, bro.
What are you drinking?
And he's not sipping. He's gulping.
That's a wine glass? Good Lord. Ronan, again, we're trying to make it quick. We never do. Give me your thoughts there. You got the WAGMI United PFP.
I had to find the right one instead of being like, like putting up something wrong. Yeah, man, it's cool. I like the hat. I got a banger hat, and he's got like the flag, the American flag around his shoulders. I checked his stats though, man. I strike out all the time, man. I don't ever get anything rare. If I want something rare, I gotta fucking go and buy it.
You and me both, bro. My minting luck is poor.
I'll mint the shit out of some rares on some 3 o'clock in the morning moon pepes, but like I can't do that with any of the other ones.
All right, into today's major topic, CryptoNovo, who is a crypto G. I don't really follow CryptoNovo. It's not someone that it's like on my timeline all the time, but apparently is a big player there in Decentraland. They have the Novoverse in Decentraland. I just got hacked. Are you kidding me? And shows a picture of a few or 4 CryptoPunks here, but also Bored Ape Yacht Clubs, also Meebits, and other NFTs were essentially drained from this user's wallet up to about 600 ETH. So I mentioned this on the GM Web3 Morning Show as we started, and I'm basically, when I see big OGs in the space get hacked, it sends a little bit of a shiver down your spine, because you know that it could maybe happen to you. And there are things that can happen, or that you can protect yourself with, which we'll talk about here in just a second. But to me, it's just always like, damn, they got hacked. A person who's been in the space for 4 years who should know better got hacked. I better watch
down your spine.
But there's no maybe you can get we can all get fucking hacked. Like, that's
but it's just
why
a reminder.
Be careful.
It's just a reminder.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
That's true. But I mean, just even like, I don't know, man. The fact that if there's anybody out there that is still not understanding the point that you can get hacked, please understand this can happen to you today. Like, anybody can get hacked at any time if they click the wrong link or they're not careful enough. That's how this whole space works. You're your own bank. You got to be fucking careful and you got to protect your shit. We had an interesting back and forth talking about the security and this news story on Jam Web 3 with Sarah Script. Shout out Sarah Script, love her to death. She always comes in with a great POV, and it's great to go back and forth. And she's taking the side of like, we need regulation, and you shouldn't like make them feel bad for doing this type of stuff. And like, yes, of course, you don't want to like victim blame or like pile onto people when they suffer something horrible like this. That said, you need to be accountable. And if you're an OG in the space and you're holding a bunch of CryptoPunks and Bored Apes worth millions of dollars in a hot wallet that you're connecting to a bunch of random shit, like, you should actually know better than that. Like, it's hard not to point out the accountability part of it also, right? Like, you're your own bank. You got to protect your keys. If you're not putting your fucking prize assets into a cold wallet or using a burner or doing something else, man, like it sucks. It's awful. I'm really sorry to hear it, but also, like, what are you doing holding a bunch of fucking punks and apes in a hot wallet that you're connected?
I do want to ask this question, Giff, and it's a fantastic point. You need to have multiple wallets that are held for different things. I completely agree. I do want to get to some of the details here. This is via NFT Plazas, and it looks like there was an unlimited allowance to a certain wallet on all NFTs in the wallet. Like, I don't know how this transaction happened, but essentially what happened with CryptoNovo is they signed a transaction that was nefarious, and therefore all of the NFTs were drained. Now, can that happen still in a cold wallet? Like, if you sign a transaction via a cold wallet that uses a hardware wallet, but you sign a transaction that says you give this platform an ability to have unlimited allowance to all your tokens, can't that still happen in a cold wallet?
So
Yes.
I think this is
Yes,
but
that's what
but
people
don't you also need the hardware though to like confirm any transfers out? Like, isn't that
once you sign the malicious transaction, boom, they got you. And that's what they're doing when you're clicking these links. And that's where, like, I appreciate the emphasis people put on going and spending more money on shit like a ledger, but the ledger's not going to protect you from being dumb and clicking a damn link that you shouldn't click, like, and going through it like Q just did. He signed a malicious transaction, right? He signed that, which means that he didn't do his due diligence in some way, shape, or form. And that's why the most important thing about all this is, like, you need to slow down everything every time you think about clicking that sign button. It doesn't matter if you think you're signing to fucking collect some cookie dough NFTs for some shit, or you're sending, trading apes. Like, you need to really be aware of what you're doing. And do I think that we could get a little more help? Yeah. Like, I think that MetaMask should feel pressured to create a more clear experience, right, for the users of their wallet and everyone else who's doing this, right? Like, I think Q's the one who brought up Pocket Universe like 2 months ago. I installed it, and you want to talk about an add-on that I'm so super fucking thankful for. That's one, dude. Like, what it does is it's a barrier between signing a signature and actually signing it. So you have to confirm the window that pops up from Pocket Universe first before it gives you the prompt in your wallet signature, whatever UI. And what it does is it visually tells you, and it says exactly what you're assigning it to do. And it will say red, and it'll show an NFT, and it'll be like, you're giving complete access to, the Bored Ape Yacht Club collection, or or it'll say in green, we'll receive 85 ETH, we'll send one Bored Ape Yacht Club, and it shows the picture of it breaks it down and makes it dummy proof, right? Like, you have to take those types of steps of educating yourself and understanding. I think was it Don who asked, and somebody asked in chat, like, was it actually a hack? That's the thing. Like, we say a hack, but really a lot of this isn't a hack. It's just clicking a malicious link, which is more of like social
engineering. Yeah. And so to Ronan's point, like, he took multiple steps. He clicked on a link and then also signed and authorized a transaction that gave the access. And I do agree with everything that's being said, that like the infrastructure platforms like MetaMask need to be doing better, need to be doing more. Right now, like something that everybody can do is go to revoke.cash, or in your MetaMask, disconnect everything from your wallets. If you've been connecting to a bunch of shit over the last several months and you haven't gone through that process of just disconnecting all the different shit, you might have a malicious connection, a transaction that's just sitting there waiting to be exploited. These things sit there. Once they're signed, it's there and it'll just sit there. And that's what happens with a lot of these, is it could be months and then all of a sudden you'll see a run and a bunch of scams, a bunch of people losing all their shits because somebody had a bunch of people sign a transaction at some point and then decided, hey, now's the time, I'm going to go execute all of these exploits.
A lot of great.
So anyway,
a lot of great comments coming through as well that we'll get to. The revoke.cash was brought up. I dropped the link there. Gifted just mentioned revoke.cash. Here's another thing of like accessing these tools is something that is a barrier for me, or like a point of caution for me, because even in trying to get to revoke.cash, you could fuck up. You can Google revoke.cash and there would be a website
Fake
above actual revoke.cash. So I'd like to go through Twitter. I like to go through Twitter most of the time, like a verified account on Twitter. But even that, then maybe they got hacked at that instant on their Twitter profile and they switched so you have to be careful. But I did put into the twitter.com revoke cash or / revoke cash. It also is revoke.cash. I was using this tool while we were on GM Web3 this morning to go through my hardware wallet and see what I was linked to, and revoked a few different things. Nothing that seemed malicious, but it gives you a layout essentially of the allowances that you're making, whether it's for a specific NFT, if it's for a specific token, all of these things, and then a simple tool to just simply revoke that. So really, the only thing in my hardware wallet, which sucks that we have to deal with, but the only thing in my hardware wallet that I'm working with right now is ApeCoin. I have to access that ApeCoin platform, right, to kind of take part in the ApeCoin staking. Therefore, I give it the ability to have full allowances on the token. Another app that does that is Uniswap. You have to allow Uniswap to have full allowances on your token so that I can make that transaction. But there's a whole others, but I would definitely suggest revoke.cash. We'll get to some comments here in a second. Go ahead, Ronan.
Yeah, and I think like the other thing is we're gonna see more people from the community come out and help. Like you've got token proof, right? Like you can attach your wallet to token proof using like their QR code system. And then once you're attached, you can actually use token proof to verify ownership versus having to sign a signature with your actual wallet itself. Because token proof is live authentication, right? So when a project decides to partner with something like token proof, there's another big one that a lot of people have been using lately, and the name is skipping me at the moment, but it's maybe it's Delegate or something like that. But it's basically you connect your wallet to them, and then the projects use their API, system to confirm authentication when they need to. So I think like we're gonna, that's the type of shit that we need to continue to see pop up, and we need to see more prevalence, right? Like projects need to make that, number one on their list. Like, when I, for apes, like when it comes time to do this next mint in a month or whatever, like that needs to be through token proof. So I don't have to go and sign my Vault wallet saying I own an ape to then be able to mint, right? They need to be using an API like token proof that's connected to my main wallet that does it through the blockchain, but doesn't need me to sign over authentication for anything.
Okay, so I'm going to get to some of these comments. I want to get to Biggie's thoughts here as well. Looks like, let's start with Cam Taylor. Novo used to work with Gary Vee's team. He's a good guy. Feel terrible for him. Jacob Brown is saying, don't connect your wallet and you won't be hacked 99% of the time. Marty McFly saying each of those things should have been on separate hot wallets. If you got that much, not on one. Let's see. There's a lot of good ones. Jack's Hideaway saying those of us in the niche of decentralized living assume risk. Metanix is saying, I think in summarizing it the best, Metanix is a great community member as well that's been here for a long time, is very big on security. Buy in one wallet, transfer it into a cold wallet, don't sign shit from that ledger. Maya's asking, is there any tool that's actually foolproof protection? I think, Ronan, you mentioned one. What was the name of that? Pocket
Universe. Yeah. And it's, again, like, I don't know if anything is always going to be foolproof, but like this has provided exactly like what I think is just another step in helping me from making a mistake, right? It visually shows me, what is going to take place when I sign the next prompt, right? And if I don't like what's going to happen, there's a button right there where I can reject the transaction and I don't even need to ever touch my wallet. So yeah, definitely check that out. Pocket Universe. It's a little plugin that you plug into your Chrome. Make sure you go and do the research and make sure it's the real Pocket Universe. Okay. Cause I think like I Googled it into Q's point, like any sponsored ads or paid for things are going to be fake. Don't click them. Find the real fucking website and then go through that. And it has been a really good experience. But I did want to call out Don's comment. Banks provide trust. Blockchain provides trust. Banks give you recourse upon fraud. Blockchain ? For me, my response to that is like, yeah, but right. Like it's like they also provide like a lot of other stuff. Security is definitely one of those things. Blockchain is about kind of taking that over yourself, right? And it's giving you the power to own your money, run your money, and be responsible for your money. The more that we put that onus on a third-party entity, the more you're opening yourself up for someone else to take your cash, right? And I think that's like the strongest like aspect of what we're doing that I think we need to continue to remind people about is like a lot of this is about like that we own our money. My money is in my hands. I control it. Nobody else is dipping their hands. No Alameda, FTX or whatever. Also, I forgot I do have a meeting at 2:00, so I got to jump in like literally 60 seconds. But it's been a great episode.
Thanks. Are you peacing?
I am gonna peace in a second. Love you guys. I'll just say goodbye seconds. Now I'll just say it now so we don't have to do
it. In 60 seconds.
No, I appreciate you guys. Sorry, I totally forgot that it got moved. It was at 2:15 at first, and then they moved it to 2. But it's been a good episode. I appreciate it. Lots of fun. I think this is a really good conversation. I think we need to continue to like at least like once a month. I know GIF does it a lot on the Twitter Spaces. So if you're not following, make sure you're following so you can check out the Twitter Spaces. But going over security practices, best practices, reminding people about these things is something that we should probably be doing as often as possible. So outside of that, if you guys want that type of information as much as we can provide it, make sure you're liking, make sure you're hitting the subscribe button if you can. If you really love us, you want to make sure you don't miss any of the content that we put out. There's a little bell. That bell will make sure that you're notified every time we go live, every time a new short drops. The shorts are entertaining. They're lots of fun. If you don't want to have to like dig, guess what? You can scroll real fast and take in some 15, 30, 60-second content. But we love you guys. We appreciate it. The likes mean the world to us. Keep at it. Talk to you guys later.
Go Dogs.
Yeah, Ronan.
Well said.
Biggie, I want to get, well, go ahead first, GIF.
Well, I still there's so much to say on all this shit. I think, look, Jack's Hideaway is pointing out, if you want insurance, use CFI, centralized finance. Don't drag DeFi into it. Banks are not infallible. Actually, banks get run on all the time. Most of us on the show live in Western societies where banks are relatively safe. They're not totally controlled by the government, even though they pretty much are. But like, even though they're dipping into your pockets and controlling your funds and doing things with it, like you usually feel relatively confident that like most of your money's still going to be there if you go get it. Let's understand that like we're taking even like the safety of banks for granted, where a lot of the rest of the world, like, their governments are not as stable. Their banking systems are not as stable. Like,
fair point.
There's a lot of value to being bankless, to being fully decentralized and owning your own. And let's imagine that like we did anyway. I don't want to go fully into whatever. The point is like, yes, banks provide some level of insurance, but you're giving up a lot of control when you do that. You are signing an agreement with them that ultimately, like, if worse came to worse, not your keys, not your fucking money, dude.
So Biggie's been sitting there stewing, and I know it's just stewing on this info, ready to give his takes. And Biggie, I want to ask you, I do want to like formulate this question for you and then get the rest of your takes. Is that events like this lead back to the debate of whether to a lot of the comments in the chat's point, people are going to join us in Web3, meaning the masses. Are we going to have mass adoption when crypto is this way? When there is even people that have been here for years fucking up and losing the majority of their net worth? To me, I side on the argument that most people do not want to take that risk. They do not care about self-sovereignty if that's going to risk their entirety of the life savings that they have. So I want to get your 100%.
I think it's the old Mark Zuckerberg debate, right, about your data and about sharing your personal data, right, during the Cambridge Analytica moments. Like, yes, I do think a lot of people are lazy and they don't understand that, like, with great freedom comes great responsibility. You want self-sovereignty, it has a price. It does have a price. Having said that, I don't think, like, also it's an either or situation. There's going to be, you have to have the entire gamut, right? Like my parents at some point might be using crypto down the line. They don't need to learn the intricacies the way that we know them, right? Having said that, I think you do need regulation to a certain degree, because if you allow these things to continue going unpunished and untracked, it's just going to continue to happen. And I think, like what you guys said was really great. It's like, again, it's like best practices, right, on self-sovereignty and protecting yourself. There's 1,000 great things. Obviously, when it happens to an OG like this that should know better, it hits home to people that have been in the space for some time, because it's just a shiver down your spine. It reminds you that everybody's fallible, that everybody can get taken, right? And that you just need to be very, very careful about every little step. And that's why, I mean, if you talk with like a lot of like pilots, right, like there's so many things, or captains of ships, like there's so many things that they have to go through to just take off or do things that, I don't care what your IQ is, you have a fucking list and you just go down, boom, 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 every single little list. Now, if we made a list of all the best practices we just mentioned, we could make it, package it, and give it to our audience. Now, how many are going to follow it? Do we follow every single one all the time? No, we're human, right? But I think, like, one of the practices that I do try to apply, because I know that sometimes I won't go through all these lists, I do try to separate, again, like my most treasured things from my everyday signing wallet, right? And even then, I try to layer as much things to trip over that'll take time, that are tedious for me to get to the end result, so that gives me some time to contemplate on what I'm doing, maybe, and not FOMOing into something and stumbling and signing the wrong thing. And also just it's very tedious work. It requires you to, turn off like DMs from like Discords, right? And you have to turn them on and off all the time. Maybe you make a note whenever you meet somebody. I've met this person IRL. This one I haven't. There's a way to do that on Discord. Same thing with Twitter, right? Like, you just have to be super, super analytical about all these things. Even like the people that you follow or start having conversations, it's like you don't just like look at their Twitter profile. You see when they joined. Oh, you joined 2021, and you have like these very basic retweets and everything. I don't know if you're a real person. I don't know if this is your real Twitter account. I don't want to follow you. I don't want to have a conversation with you, period. Like, you just have to be judgmental like that. You're gonna miss out on maybe some people and everything, but in my opinion, like, you just have to take it to that level. Like, another great tip that I can give you is, like, I'm sure all of us have multiple email addresses, and even then, like, I don't even give those anymore. Like, I use something like an email generator, so that I'm just giving a completely different email to every single account, and, like, again, tedious practice. Some people will apply it, some won't. You'll come out with your own recipe, but it's really helped me to like, one of the things that I've noticed in all these social engineering scams, because we determined that a lot of them aren't hacks per se, they're more social engineering scams, is that they work off of FOMO. And they work off of FOMO, and they work off of like the vestige of authority, whether you're an Apple executive, which I think is what happened with this guy or something. So I think, like, the more time you can put in between whatever it is you need to do and when you start, like, okay, I have to go get my ledger, I have to go sign in, and maybe I have a thing where I have to read the contract first, and then maybe I have a list on my computer that says, who is this person? Double check, call them on the phone or whatever. You have a couple of steps that'll just give you some breathing room to consider, or maybe fuck up and be like, shit, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Another example that I always apply when it comes to like stuff like this that is FOMO is like, I'll wait. I don't care if I miss out on an OG roll or being the first 200 to whatever the fucking prize. I'll wait. I'll let like 200 or 300 more people go do the claim or sign the transaction. I'll look at the Discord and see people smooth transaction. Great. Maybe I'll even ask the question, like, was everybody able to do it fine? Great. Oh, 130 claims or whatever. Okay, I'll go in and I'll do it. And again, these are just best practices. You can still get got. That's what makes me cringe about this freaking story. It's like, God damn, like it keeps on happening. And it frustrates the shit out of me, Q, because I believe in what you said. Like it will limit a lot of people's confidence in coming into this space, at least sooner than we would all like, because it is better. Self-sovereignty is worth it, but it does come with responsibility. And just to bring it all back full circle to your question, yeah, I don't think we'll ever be able to, onboard everybody, because a lot of people will never want that responsibility. Yeah. And for that, you will always have to have some centralization with some fucking, some regulation too.
That's what Web 2.5 is. And there's a great dialogue happening in the comments between Jack's Hideaway and Don R going back and forth on this. And I think, what Jax is saying about Web 2.5 being the pragmatic bridge to Web 3.0 is also echoing what Q and what I've been saying, what we've all been saying, right? It's like the masses are not going to swing all the way from Web 2 to Web 3. It's too dangerous. It's too scary. The barriers of entry are too high. That's not what's going to happen. There has to be an in-between point, and that's where most people are going to land. And then that's also going to be the bridge for a lot of other people to follow through and discover true, self-sovereignty and autonomy. Web 2.5 is going to be the closest thing to foolproof that you get. And that is going to be what the big brands, what the regulators are going to be fighting for. That's going to be here. The goal is, I think, to what Jax Hideaway is saying, is to not dilute the full power of Web3 while you're doing that, right? You want to maintain, like our goal should be to educate and maintain the bridges and the ability for people to move from Web 2.5 into Web3, and to make that possible and fight for as much interoperability and integration and decentralization as possible, so that, yes, the Nikes, the Starbuckses, the custodial wallets, all of the fucking CBDCs, like they're fucking coming. Like all this shit's happening. It's all coming. Mm-hmm. So we just need to make sure that there still is some true Web3 out there, and that we can build those bridges, have the education, and still be able to pull people that way that want to go that way. Not everybody's going to be full Web3, at least not in the near future.
And the good news for those of us that are in Web3, for those people that are like, oh my God, is MetaMask going to get regulated? Well, guess what? Someone will create another MetaMask type wallet with the same interface that will not be heavily regulated and will look a lot like what MetaMask looks like now. And really, the way MetaMask looks like today is not what it should look like if we want mass adoption. We mentioned this in the GM Web3 Morning Show. This MetaMask development over the past 3 or 4 years is not where it should be. MetaMask should give you notifications about the allowances that you have outstanding on your profile. And it should make it very readable for people to say, hey, did you know that this was actually allowing a full wallet of your NFTs to be completely drained? There should be a fucking notification for that on MetaMask. There should be a lot of things. I mentioned this again on the show a long time ago. I'm not going to go deep into it, but this is not on MetaMask at all. It's on CryptoNovo, but MetaMask can do some things to make it more easily digestible for the majority of people to use the actual platform. So
to protect our customers, I mean, we are the customer, right? I mean, we are the user.
Again, and to use GiftEd's Web 2.5 that he's adopted, I think from originally talked about on NFT Live. Make sure you drop that copyright GIF. I just want to make sure. But the MetaMask might become Web 2.5. Maybe MetaMask, to Sarah Scripps' point on the Twitter Spaces this morning, maybe MetaMask is the one that does become regulated and therefore starts to have all these users. There will always be something else that us Web3 native folks can use. So that, just keep that in mind. Don't feel like it's all doom and gloom, like they're going to come in and be able to regulate all of our Web3 wallets and all these different things. There will always be something we can use that are more up to date on self sovereignty and self custody and all these things.
Yeah. Here comes ZK proofs.
Yeah. And I think like it's important, since like we're talking about all this, like what's the point or what's the actionable next step in terms of best practices? We've already mentioned some here. A few more is like, when you're searching or looking at links, doing due diligence or clicking on links initially, use a different browser that is not connected to your wallet while you're doing that. Take the links and go search them on Google. Go double check them across a couple of different places. Go look for verified Twitters and Discords first. Go make sure that you triple check, like, is this place, this website that I'm about to go mint from and sign a transaction from, can it be authenticated by a bunch of people? But even when you do that, understand how sophisticated the social engineering is out there. And just because some random messages or some people on Twitter or Discord are telling you like, yeah, go do this, FOMO into this thing, that does not mean that it is actually legit and that it's not dangerous. Biggie already hit on at least moving your most valuable NFTs out into cold storage, even if you don't want to spend hundreds of dollars to move them all. So like, these are a couple things that, you can go do right now.
Yeah, using multi-sig, I think if you have a significant amount of value, and unlike what Marty was suggesting, like putting it in different wallets, if you're going to insist on keeping it in one big wallet, maybe consider using a multi-sig, like just again, like make it tedious and hard for you and for everybody else, And I don't think
And I just want to, with Biggie talking about that, I just want to point out that I think 2 weeks ago, Biggie told us that he has a hardware wallet for upstairs and downstairs in his house, just in case.
Multiple hardware
just
wallets.
In case he doesn't want to walk downstairs.
And I think he was gonna. Did you get the new stacks, the new Ledger stacks too? Did you get that?
Yeah. I ordered a couple. And then I got a couple more. I'm a stack.
Shit.
I thought that shit was on pre-order till March. You got
no. This is no. I'm not that in the fucking system. No, these are the other ones. But I'm just showing, like, I have ledgers that I either give to friends or people that I know, or that I have for myself, because sometimes you can lose them, you can run over them. I don't know. Like, it's just fucking. I love the product, and you should have. I think a lot of people think that it's like you should just have one. It's like too much of an expense. Like, you shouldn't have it. It's like, no, man. Like, these fucking things are super practical. And if you're really in the space and you're transacting and doing stuff with things that are of significant value, you should have a couple of them. Like, what if this one breaks and this is the only one, and I all of a sudden need to do something very quickly? Or need to walk downstairs.
Another good best practice that Marty McFly was pointing out is, like, don't ever be trusting doing your business signing transacting at all on public networks. Like, if you're not on a private network that you trust, like,
VPN,
you could VPN it, or just make sure that you're on your own network. Like, don't ever be fucking transacting on open public networks. That is one of the worst mistakes that people can make. And, like, especially around like conferences, or if you're out, at a Starbucks or a hotel or something, like, you never know who's fucking like paying attention to that shit. I wanted to, like, really quickly, because, like, there's this, again, amazing debate conversation happening in the chat. Props to everybody who's keeping it civil, keeping it positive, and sharing thoughts, because these are really important topics. And so I just really appreciate that conversation that's happening. But it's also making me, like, want to really briefly talk about the cliche of, like, what does this mean to be in the Wild West? Because we throw around this fucking term like, oh, it's the Wild West. We're in the Wild West, Wild West, Wild West. What does it fucking actually mean? Yeah, like, like, we're in the fucking Wild West, guys. Hey, like, it sounds like that's just like a fun, silly fucking cliche. But actually it means something. And that is that, like, you are out on a frontier where there is not the infrastructure to save or help you. Not everybody was a frontiersman. It was not for everybody. It was a hard, dangerous life. Like, literally think about what the how we civilized the West, which I get it. There's a lot that you could go into about how problematic it was. Like, that's not the point. The point was this was a painful, drawn out process of people risking their fucking lives to
wrecked.
try and and getting wrecked over and over and over. It's not about blaming like the users or anything like that. It's like you are taking on risk by going to try and start your own bank, by entering into the full decentralized Web3. You are out on a frontier. There's not a lot of infrastructure there. Nobody to fucking save you. If you've got your little house, your little bank out here in the middle of the fucking the frontier, and you get surrounded by a bunch of Indians, and you're not properly prepared, or Native American, like what? I'm not trying to. Sorry if this is getting problematic, but the point is, if you get stuck in a situation that you're not prepared for, like, you're fucked. And that's part of what developing this wild new land looks like.
And I think what you're getting there, GIF, is like, you gotta be prepared to take some arrows in your back, right? Like, once you're in the space a while and you start talking to people and everything, everyone's gotten one way or another at some point. You fucked up, you sang this, you got that, and you trade these stories and you laugh about them and you move on.
Survival.
What you do though is that you minimize that as much as possible by using all these tricks that we've been talking about. It's like risk management, lose as little as possible in your trades when you're acting around people and doing other stuff. But that's what being a pioneer means, right? Like, at some point, like, it's almost like a badge of honor. Obviously, I do not want this guy's arrows in my back.
I would not like to have arrows in the back.
But you can apply this to so many different things in life. Like, being an entrepreneur, how many business startups fail? It's like 98 to 99% of all businesses fail. It's like you're taking on risk by trying to pioneer and build something in the space right now. And I feel like we shouldn't gloss over the fact that this is still, like, again, that's where Web 2.5 is going to fill in. You've got all these big brands. That's going to be a lot where most people land. If you want to participate in pioneering Web 3, you take on risk. That's just part of it. That's what this is.
And to answer some of our readers' questions here, Don, because he's like, as long as we're moving towards a more peaceful vision of the future, I think that's the point, right? Like, that's where we're going. And I know you know this. If you look at the chart, it's up and to the right. But if you zoom in, there's a lot of volatility, right? And we're having to go through that. But I think we're all in here because, unfortunately, there is some blood to be had, right? But I'm in this for that very reason, Don. Is because I believe that this is going to be a massive improvement for humanity, for all of us. We all know this. That's why we're saying, like, who else is crazy enough to be in this market right now with bonk coins and people, getting shafted for millions of dollars because they lost their punks. Like, it's insane. But the reason we're here is because we're, in spite of all of that, we can see the bigger picture. And I know you can too, and all of our viewers can see it. And so, like, I mean, it's not something to be discouraged. It's just something to be embraced. And then these things, as shitty as they are, I mean, they're reminders, right? Like, that shiver on the sun, I'm going to have it all day. I'm going to be walking around just thinking about it and thinking about, like, what can I do better? Where am I kind of like slacking? What can I do, right? That's all it is.
The simple, like, thing you can have right now, solution wise, for those people at home, you need to, again, do the exact same thing Biggie and Gifted and myself were talking about, which is have a cold wallet set up that is outside the wallet that you use to sign transactions and do things on a daily basis. That's the easiest thing you can do right now. You have a hot wallet, you have a semi kind of hot wallet, and then you have a cold wallet, right? The cold wallet touches nothing. The hot wallet, maybe you're doing things like literally on the daily, and then the semi, that's like extra security there for things that you want. But the point is having a cold wallet that does not do anything but send back the NFT to a hot or a semi, cold wallet that you're using. Like, that's the cold wallet should not do anything other than that. I mentioned the ApeCoin staking that I'm doing with my cold wallet right now. That is a risk. That is totally a risk. I'm taking that risk. It sucks, but that isn't necessarily the technical use of a cold wallet, which should be not signing any allowances on that wallet. So hopefully you guys learned something from this today. I know a lot of you are there in chat and are doing those things, as well as kind of lending your knowledge on the subject as well. So we appreciate you guys. We do have to move on. We did want to keep this at a short episode today. So we will get into the next topic, which is that Meta's Instagram is ready to support NFTs from Ethereum, Polygon, Solana, and Flow. So another win for Solana here in chat. Let's get some claps for Solana, just getting all the wins, baby. Thank you, Biggie. I appreciate it. But essentially what we have here, folks, is that Instagram is now rolling out the NFT feature for select users. Again, the pilot will feature a small group of NFT aficionados based in the US. It wasn't immediately clear whether Instagram would support NFTs from all 4 chains at launch. So very much in a beta mode right now. I did visit one of the users who's like a UConn women's basketball player or former player who has like 1 million followers on Instagram. And I did see that if you go to their profile, there is now a section where you have NFTs that you can like click onto, and then it displays it in the profile mode. And then I think the image like moves a little bit. It like moves back and forth, kind of has like a 3D feel, an animation feel to it. But other than that, I mean, we need to kind of see this feature roll out before we kind of give our takes. The one thing we did hear this morning on the GM Web3 Morning Show was that one of our listeners hopped up on stage and was telling us about the sign-up process for the wallet. It doesn't feel like Instagram is taking the Reddit route, which is to call the wallet something different, call the native wallet, I should say, in Instagram something different, like a vault, or try to onboard users that way. They're going straight to the MetaMask Trust Wallet route, which I don't agree with. I think Reddit did an amazing job making it so, hey, do you want to like learn about this Web3 stuff in a more digestible way than saying, here, set up your MetaMask, for all the reasons we just talked about for the last 20 minutes. So I will say Instagram do a little bit more and a little bit better in the way Reddit did with their onboarding. But give me your takes, and if you have any links, GIF or Biggie, as it's related to Instagram NFT, so I can pull it up. I would like to see this in full force.
I love it. This is exactly what we want. We've talked about it before, right? I mean, this is what we're aiming for: more onboarding, more adoption. I'm really curious about how they determine who those NFT aficionados, who are those NFT aficionados that are going to get beta access to that. I mean, I don't think I'm one of them, because I don't use the same name or anything. It's like, that's my personal stuff. But yeah, let's see how it plays out. I'm very curious to see also which of the chains gets more traction with these particular platforms, right? Is it going to be Polygon, or will Polygon be out there doing its own thing? Will it be Flow? Will it be Solana? Let's see. It would be cool to make a prediction here. Like, what do you think? I'll take Flow.
Flow because of the NBA. I could definitely see that. A lot of sports clips are shared on Instagram. A lot of athletes are on Instagram. I could see Flow 100%. The only thing about Flow, again, is it doesn't have the reach that even a Polygon would have at this point, I think,
but it's
natively.
It's fresh to be adopted by a platform, versus, say, Solana, which is little, as we discussed, dirtied up right now. And Polygon seems to be off doing its own thing. They don't need Instagram. So maybe they're like a little distracted in that regard. It's a perfect opening for Flow to come in and get all them IG users. That's what I'm saying.
Marty's saying screw the Reddit newspeak. I hope you all have read 1984 at least once for real. I've read 1984 once for real, first of all. Second of all, what is the Reddit newspeak? Just because they use a different term that is more digestible than setting up a decentralized wallet called MetaMask that no one has any idea about, as opposed to referring it to as a vault, is newspeak?
This is Web 2.5. This is exactly what we're talking about. This is what it's going to look like, and how it's going to happen is through platforms like Instagram and integrating, right? It's funny, the like newspeak and stuff, because I was actually chatting with Strawberry last night about our great debate, Nifty Q, between the lesser of the two neologisms, digiphysical and phygital. And I think I've realized, like, honestly, like, we have fun debating this silliness and the semantics of it. But the truth is, like, they're both kind of fucking lame. And honestly, eventually, like, you need just better terms that communicate more simply, like, what it is that's just cooler and more streamlined, that is accessible to normal people. Like, if you try and explain phygital or digiphysical to anybody, they're just going to gloss over and be like, what? So it's just a fucking t-shirt, right? You know what I mean? It's like, so I think that's kind of the point to me, is like we shouldn't be stung up. We shouldn't be so hung up on our fucking early terminology and how cool and in we are, because, like, we know, NFT lingo and speak. The vast majority of people are never going to give a shit about certain terms that we use.
And you can use it. Why does it have to be just one term, right? Like, there's many terms for a song,
There's going to be
tune,
many,
whatever. Like,
but most people never. Here's
you can tell how old by what they use. We'll be the old guys when we say NFT. They'll be like, "Oh, you're fucking old."
And that's cool to all of about, like, 0.001% of the population. Like, here's an interesting factoid. Did you know that a very small increment of Ethereum, of ETH, like 0.0001 ETH, kind of like a sat, is called a Babbage? Did you know that? It's called a Babbage of ETH. Is a tiny, tiny amount of ETH. Who fucking cares? Nobody cares. Like, we care, but, like, that's not how you're gonna onboard millions of people into the space, by talking in this fucking, like, crazy technological lingo. That's for the developers, for the pioneers, which we all are. But beyond that, like, we've got to figure out how to better communicate this shit to other people, and kind of get over ourselves to an extent. Because, yes, when we're here talking to the pioneers, it makes sense. And outside of this, it's just fucking gassing ourselves up.
Hey, real quick, I wanted to give a look. I'm having trouble, honestly, finding, and I had trouble looking this up before we even started the show to kind of get some sources. But, like, here's a look at a interface on Instagram for NFTs. So you have the drop down. Here's, like, the main profile. Here's the reels, and now there's a check mark box that has this, like, hexagon here, and then you have the NFTs that, again, have the check mark on them. And when you click into them, they, again, do, like, a little motion shake. I don't know if that's, again, to signify that that's an NFT. But we'll kind of get into what this looks like on Instagram. There's going to be an NFT marketplace. I'm sure there's going to be a launch pad. That's probably a huge thing for Instagram to say, hey, creators are actually going to be, using our platform to create NFTs for their community, and we're going to take a little bit of the fee. So that's what I want to kind of jump into. Also, I think just to clarify one thing, Marty was talking about the term NFT. I think Instagram is using the term NFT, if I'm not mistaken. I was talking about the wallet exactly. Like, I thought Reddit using the term vault was definitely an ingenious way to get their people onboarded without saying wallet or MetaMask or something like that. So I think they are using NFT in this, but I might be wrong. So what is this? What do we got, Gif? Oh, you're muted.
This is Marty was saying, I think it's called a Gwei. There's a bunch of different increments of Ethereum that, like, are there, and Babbage is one of them. Absolutely. So fun little factoid there. Again, it's just, I don't know the point that I'm trying to make. All right, look, we have a community topic though. Asmodai, I have to say, that's the one that I want to talk about. Era had a really great one. Knox.
Are we leaving Instagram?
Okay, sorry. I just want to. I want to select and set up for the next topic, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Instagram. But Asmodai, I love the idea of, like, talking more about how people are displaying and showcasing and utilizing their NFTs and their art. I think that's an interesting topic that we don't talk a lot about. So that's the one that we'll talk about for the community segment here in a moment.
Say it again.
Asmodai.
Okay.
How people are displaying and choosing to display or use their NFTs for their identities. I think that's a great topic. Look, Instagram, there's still a lot of work. It's just exciting to see that they're rolling it out. Chaz Gold did a test, so it's like you can post your NFTs now. I think pretty much everybody can, because Chaz did a demo during GM Web 3. I can find that and show. But like right now, it's not tied into a marketplace. Like he's not listing it for sale. I think to your point, Nifty Q, maybe it's only certain creators can actually like sell them. But you can, all it is right now is it just has the overlay that says digital collectible. And then I think on mobile, it actually shows some of the metadata, but on desktop, it doesn't even show metadata. Like it literally shows nothing. So I'll send you that right now in the private chat if you want to pull it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that up here as well. The other question we're having is whether you can create a wallet natively on Instagram and then move that wallet to another web browser base like a MetaMask or something like that. The bridge there back to these blockchains essentially.
This is one of the sneaky things about this that we should all be looking for, right? Because if there's no integration and interoperability with the broader blockchain, if you cannot self custody your assets and move them out of your custodial wallet on Instagram, that's a big fucking red flag. That's the evil plan at work. Then that's at that point we can go back to calling him Fuckerberg, because if there's no way for you to actually like own these assets outside of their ecosystem, that's Web 2.5, the bad version. The good version of Web 2.5 is what Reddit's doing, where it still gives those off ramps and on ramps, and you can still fully self custody, and it's integrated. So here you go. It's like this is an NFT post. So Chaz just went and did this. So you've got the little overlay somewhere. Is it even showing on this?
No, it's not.
That's weird. It's not showing on your desktop. Maybe just go click on his like click through to his account real quick. Scroll just a little bit.
It's not even showing.
Oh, that's weird. It's not even showing on your desktop at all. So this is where it's strange, is that it's clearly they're working on it. It's rolling out very like one bit at a time, because on my desktop, I see just the digital collectible overlay, but it has no metadata, no nothing. There's no, and like I was looking too, it's, on Instagram, on the marketplace, they've got the whole marketplace app built into Instagram and all this functionality. Under categories, there's no digital collectibles yet, but I would assume that at some point the digital collectibles will be a category on the marketplace. That would make sense to me. But I don't know.
I'm trying to go through the game theory of how an Instagram NFT marketplace could be like utilized for traders, right? Like what does that even look like? Is it an artist? Is it like mainly an artist like platform where you're kind of like buying up like one of ones and things like this, or is it, to Biggie's point, like are you collecting sports NFTs like highlights, and those are the things that people want to trade back and forth? Or is there something else like a PFP that like I'm just kind of going through where I think there could be value with this Instagram NFT marketplace. So it's kind of up in the air for me right now.
Oh, you can't see this with this camera. It's not good. But like,
you can zoom in.
If you actually, if you tap on it, it actually like moves.
Can you bring it closer to the camera?
Okay, it like
well, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's not like this camera's not set up to do a zoom, but like it like swivels and moves a little bit. So this is mobile. So mobile has the most the most integration so far with it. It actually highlights it and moves it and animates it, and then you've got the metadata on mobile. But yeah, desktop clearly doesn't really have support fully integrated.
So Prodigy's saying, well, wouldn't you be able to sell easier if all your fans are on your page? That's essentially the use case immediately for influencers and people that have large followings, is that they don't have to tell their users to go to OpenSea or go to another platform. You can do that directly on Instagram where people are with a credit card.
This is the massive potential. Yeah. So they've got the easy pipeline or payment, on ramp with credit cards and debit cards. It's all fully integrated into their platform. They're going to have their own marketplace. And again, we've said this a million times, but really quick, like why do we care so much? And aren't we like saying, fuck them? If we are here for the mainstreaming of the space and we want it all to succeed, Instagram being the largest community of brands and creators that has ever existed in humanity, having access to easy tools to be minting their assets and selling them and transacting, it could be a huge win. Like, this could be the way that millions more people start to mint and buy and sell and trade through Instagram. That's why we care, right? There's so many brands and creators and artists on the Instagram app that this could give them a really, really easy tool to be turning their art into NFTs and to be selling and buying and transacting. It could be a massive win for artists specifically. Like I'm going to be playing around with it and checking it out. But also, one of the other interesting points about it specifically that came up today on the show, on Twitter Spaces, was the lifestyle part of it, right? There's going to be a lot of fashion brands, a lot of different lifestyle consumer brands that this is their way into Web3, right? Their audiences are there. They're going to have a really simple way to be doing wearables, be doing fashion NFTs, be doing different access tokens, all of that.
If you don't kind of see the big picture of what's happening here, it's essentially that these large platforms with large audiences, the Reddits, the Twitters with Elon Musk, that's why Dogecoin is always pumping here, in maybe like thoughts that it's going to be integrated in the platform, but also Instagram. All of these platforms are likely going to have some type of payment feature, some type of wallet feature where they can capture those users monetarily. Have a quote unquote Venmo-esque feature to that platform so that they can capture the flow of money. So, that's
even
probably
central banks.
Instagram.
Central banks want in on crypto. Everybody wants to get their fingies wet. So yeah, you're absolutely right. And did
you Don R saying, did you say what blockchain Instagram is minting on? I think the 4 blockchains: Ethereum, Polygon, Solana, and Flow. Those were the ones that were mentioned. I don't know exactly which ones are going to be rolling out first. Again, still very much in beta mode.
I think the primary. So I think there's support for Ethereum, Solana, Flow, etc. But I think the primary chain is Polygon, and so like they're going to have their own contract. This was another important point that comes up, is that all of the stuff that's going to be minted through the Instagram platform is going to be on their own shared contract, similar to like using the OpenSea contracts. That's another thing to be aware of. You're not going to be fully decentralized. If you're minting there, you're going to be stuck in their ecosystem, or at least dependent on it through that. So even if you can like showcase your ETH NFTs or link out to them or share and integrate with that somehow, I'm pretty sure most of the minting itself is going to be on Polygon through Instagram. And then again, understanding what that means from a contract perspective and your own ownership over those assets that you mint is important.
Okay, we're coming up to the end of the episode, folks. That means we're getting to our community topic. We'll do this every so often, where we will ask you guys to kind of hop into that Twitter thread, that Twitter post about each episode that we do each week or each day on NFT Live's Twitter. You hop in there, you add a topic that we cover here on NFT Live. Winner gets a reward. Sometimes we'll do the reward. Sometimes we'll ask you to just do it out of the goodness of your heart and for the betterment of the show. But today, $50 in Ape Coin is being given out to Asmodai for asking this question. Gifted, you want to take it away?
I mean, look, I just think talking about how we're moving forward, the utility of using all this art and these NFTs and these assets as an identity piece or a way to showcase the art. I feel like this is something that's still, from honestly, even from a professional and a consumer perspective, is not that advanced and has a long way to go. Like most of the screens are really like the dedicated NFT displays are very, very expensive, overpriced. They don't scale well. And even, Ronan was talking about his token frame or whatever, the fact that it doesn't even work a lot of the time. Like he has issues with it all the time. So like in-house user-friendly displays, like I have my Infinite Objects. It's actually the first dedicated display I have, but I think you're going to start to see a lot of other types of screens. Like I have an Aura picture frame, and then I've got all these TVs. We already know that like companies like LG and these TV companies are integrating NFT tech. I think that that's going to be the killer for a lot of these NFT caster display companies that have not been able to scale quickly enough. If all these people, all these hotels, all these houses already have LGs and Samsungs, and then they just update their software or provide some way for you to integrate and display your NFTs through all those screens, why am I going to go spend $1,000 or $3,000 to get an NFT dedicated display? So like Aura, any of these types of screens that people have already consumed that have the distribution and the global scale or whatever economies of scale they need to like have adoption and be in the major sales channels. If they can just find ways to integrate and update their software and hardware, I think that's going to kill a lot of the hardware startups.
So this is kind of a cop out. I'm choosing the metaverse option, but this is just from my personal experience. The day that I realized I wanted to buy into Bored Apes was I hopped into an On Cyber platform for the first time. So if you don't know what On Cyber is, it's basically like a showcase room. I'm sure they made a lot of developments past this, but at the time it was a showcase room to showcase all of your NFTs. And I think, again, getting into the human psychology of it, we buy a lot of things to like show it off in our house and all these different things. And that doesn't exist right now in the metaverse because not enough people are in it. But it was in that single experience for me and On Cyber, the reason I bought into Bored Ape. Because I was like, damn, a Bored Ape would look good up here. I don't have enough stuff in this place where if I was going to show somebody, then I would love to have a Bored Ape up there. So it was a one singular experience, but I think when the metaverse does become more adopted and people are doing that, I think it will be a boon for NFT art and all of these things because people will then want to buy things to show it off. I know that sounds super vain, but I'm just saying it led me to buy my Bored Ape. So,
well, I mean, I think it's really cool. I mean, can you imagine just how many art collectors exist right now in the world? Like serious, like capital A art collectors exist, and they can. What is that?
That's my ape, but you can't really see it.
Oh, I thought it was a Ute. For a second
But,
there,
yeah.
I was like, wow,
How dare you.
He's gone. What a diss, yo. Biggie. Hell yeah, Biggie.
It really did look like a Ute. I'm sorry. That's the quality of your iWatch, my friend.
That's just the reflection of this bright ass light. Well, so I was gonna say that like I still love my like Apple Watch is one of the best ways to display and like change out that I have right now. I think you're gonna see a lot more wearable type things. You know, one of the things that has been really popular at a lot of the conferences has been these like backpacks that have the like LED screens kind of on the back. I think you're gonna start to see better versions of that type of stuff.
Just call it a fidget tool to get it over with.
Yeah, it's a fidgetal backpack. Yeah, no. But like, no, I think you'll start to see like better versions of like wearables that you know have apps that you can basically program that actually have high quality display functionality. But also as far as wearables like go, I think that AR is going to at some point. I don't know if it's this year or it's in 2024. I don't know if we're there yet. But I think AR is going to be one of the best ways and most predominant ways that people are displaying and showcasing all this shit. Because to your point, Nifty Q, like the metaverse, like, yo, we should do another update on, like, we should do a whole show on like,
metaverse.
One thing that you guys are not highlighting though is that like right now, if you want to look at like really cool, great art other than street art, you have to go and pay for it to a museum, right? Because they need security, right? And most great art collectors, you'll never see what they have because they have to be under like these secure, you know, holding places like Freeports that we've talked about before. In the metaverse, in a virtual world, everybody can display. You can have people, you know, come on over to your pad and check out your Van Gogh or your ape Q, which is really, really cool. I totally agree. I think virtual worlds are going to be huge for the art world.
I think it will be. We're just not there yet. Like most people, except in like the demo perspective. Like I think Biggie, what you're talking about is like, hey, if I'm already going to a museum or I'm participating in a specific Van Gogh exhibit activation, I will go spend an hour or two maybe exploring a digital space. so I think in that regard, we will see a lot more of that this year, where it's like a specific activation. Yes, but like Nifty Q's saying, for the general person, it's cool to go have it on Cyber and go look at it, and maybe you can get a couple friends to go look at it for a minute or two. But you're not getting any action. You're not getting any traffic. Nobody else is going to go there. The metaverse is basically dead right now, and there's a long way to go with the virtual worlds. Again, we'll do a whole fucking show on like updating, like where's the metaverse and where's it going, rate my metaverse, whatever, because I think that's a great topic to check in on. But I think AR is much more quickly going to get the mass adoption and use cases over the next year or two.
I'm trying to figure out how that would happen technically, but I'm using your AR example because I think it's a phenomenal example. We saw Pokemon Go like 5, 6, 7 years ago.
But it's not immersive, right?
AR.
AR is additive, like to the real world, right? It's like onlaid.
It's going to get more immersive. It's going to like that's going to change. That's going to change.
But I think like when you want like an immersive experience, you will end up going to something more VR or like a screen where you can really focus on it. No, I mean, sure, until somebody like crosses the street while they're immersed in some world and gets run over, right? So, like I think the majority of the time AR is going to be an online, right? Like, and what I was talking about more is just like the ability of democratizing for everybody the capacity to display their art without having the fear of having it stolen, right? When you give that access to people in a virtual world, we've never experienced that before, because people can really, whether you want to call it flexing or being vain, but like everybody wants to show their passions, right? Their hobbies, the things they collect, but usually you can't do that because you have that fear that it'll get stolen or that it'll get damaged, right? And with virtual worlds, you'll have that capacity to share it with the world, with a lot of people. And I think in that regard, I mean, yes, how long it's going to take for it to be adopted, God knows. But when it is, man, the amount of traffic that it's going to generate, it's going to be insane. It's going to be crazy. Especially with some people's collections, right?
I agree with that. I've moved more from my stance on VR into AR because I do think we have to meet people where they are, which is on their mobile phones as opposed to putting on a headset. The headset devices haven't gotten there yet for the majority. The price alone is kind of an inhibitor, whereas a mobile phone, if it got to AR, use cases, maybe that could work. Here's my technical question here, because like Pokemon Go, again, I'm using that example. The thing I could see, although I don't know how that essentially would work technically, is like, what if you could look at something through a phone? We're talking about fashion, where you could see the Pokemon, right? That was a cool thing where like in real life, you saw the Pokemon right in front of you. But also if somebody could buy like a trainer suit or like something, again, fashion wise, that someone could see through their phone and be like, holy shit, that person's got that on. That's where the augmented reality piece comes through. But how does it read that?
I've seen people like already use like Google image search to find out, like women do that all the time now, right? Like they see a thing, and back in the day, they didn't want to go and ask the other girl, like, what's that you're wearing? Because I guess it's like not cool. But what they do now is they'll take a picture, Google image search it, buy it there, right? It's insane.
I've heard of women who will like match with people on dating apps and get their info, and before they agree to go on a date with them, will go search up their houses on fucking Zillow to see the prices. So just imagine how that's going to work when you can see people's NFTs in their wallets and it's all tied to your fucking identity in that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a whole fucking tangent.
That's why we have zero knowledge.
But no, look, VR and AR are really, they serve two different purposes, right? VR is for a dedicated, immersive, shorter experience. Usually when you're stuck somewhere like at home, you're not moving around. AR is for your day-to-day life where like I'm moving around. It is a layer on top of my reality that is additive. It is not a whole other world. It is just an additive layer on top of my day-to-day life that allows me to do new things, see other things. And it's like, that's where yes, there will be a lot of people that go to VR for those specific experiences, but in your day-to-day life, it's going to be just AR. You're just going to be out in the world fucking, and it needs to be lightweight. So it'll be glasses. It'll be your hat will actually have like a fucking flip down visor. It'll be your Neuralink. It'll be your phone. It'll be all these
Your
different fucking
Neuralink.
wearables.
Woo!
Yeah, it'll be all these different wearables that are lightweight that you don't even really notice because you're putting them on every day anyway. It'll be your fucking earpiece. Your earpiece will have a little fucking thing. Like, that's what's gonna, I think, really push it forward. Anyway.
All right, folks, we are far down this rabbit hole. Asmodai, thank you for bringing that topic up, which was how are people going to display their work or their NFTs IRL. I also want to close this poll. I just ended the poll real quick, Gift Dad, before I get your topic. Do you display your NFTs IRL? Was the poll 62% of y'all said yes, 37% said no. So go ahead, Gift.
Well, yeah, if you got them, fucking flaunt them, right? Like, why the fuck not? But I would be curious if anybody has any other really awesome examples of ways to display, whether it's like a virtual gallery. Like on Cyber, I think is still one of the coolest. Obviously, there's places like Voxels where you can go build out your own shit. We know all about all those.
Deca Gallery.
Metaverses. Yeah, well, so if that's what I want to know in the chat, if there's any other really, really badass ways to display and showcase your NFTs that you've seen, let us know, because I haven't spent a lot of time doing that myself recently. I would love to find some other cool new way to showcase and display. So if you know of any apps or cool things to do that, let us know. Let us know about it.
Folks, thank you for participating through the entire episode. If you're ready to join the NFT revolution, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like button and join us on this exciting journey. We can't wait to see what the future holds for NFTs and Web3, and we hope you'll be a part of it with us. See you on the next episode of NFT Live. Our Tribe.